Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast episode
23 and a half?
3.5, 24?
We could do the Final Fantasy thing of like part 23, part 2, or whatever the fuck it is. Fine. Yeah. Collider Cast 23-2. You know, like they did FF10-2 or whatever the hell it was called. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That one. Whatever that works out as. 23-2. So 24 then. No, 23-2.
Except unlike the recent Final Fantasy releases, this is going to be amazing.
Exactly. And isn't just basically a glorified FMV.
Not that I'm pissed off about ordering the latest one and then playing it for about 3 hours before going, nope, I can't do this anymore. I can't play this game. It's shit.
They've been shit since 7. 7 was good, kind of.
Yeah, and that's the last one I played. I was
There
like,
you go.
do you know what?
It's
It's about time I gave this a go again. No.
Square Enix basically just want to make movies now.
Now.
Well,
we tried
yeah.
that, it failed. It was called Final Fantasy The Spirits Within. It was twonk.
It was a robot from Robo Rally. Really?
Might as well have been. It went round and round in circles and basically got nowhere.
Speaking of board games.
Anyway, the reason why this is episode 23 part 2 is because A, we're recording at the same time as episode 23, and B, because we were originally going to do the mailbag as part of that episode, but as per usual we waffled on for far too long.
I think we did not waffle, actually. We provided informative chat for once.
Indeed.
You had the waffle filter engaged and still...
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
We deployed
We
the
never
cage and he failed.
Well, there just wasn't that much waffle. For once, we were actually relatively on topic, I think.
Succinct.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
There was not any capitulation.
It doesn't sound CE. You have to listen to the episode and then you'll get it.
So what we've got for this episode is just answers to your questions.
Indeed.
Which we've got quite a few. So, without further ado, let's start with Colin from
Third Family?
Third Family, spelt with an E. Sorry, I had trouble reading that. Based on his Board Game Geek avatar, is obviously a Talisman fan.
Good man. Ha-ha! Now we're talking.
God, there's more of them. They should be rounded up.
Considering you never played it, Andy, I think we need to solve that before you have a right to judge us.
I have a right to judge everything.
Well, you shouldn't. So Colin writes, I love solo gaming. Do you guys ever play with yourselves?
All the time. I get told off at work for it.
I think he means board games.
Oh, not that. Oh, right, okay, sorry.
He continues, what games have you played solo and what types of solo mechanics do you enjoy?
Well,
I'm not sure I've ever played a board game solo, actually.
I played loads.
I've played a few, yeah.
Unless you count Patience.
No.
We don't.
Well, we mentioned Martians in part 1. That's got a solo mechanic. So I played that, obviously, while I was learning it. Where you can play a firm favourite of ours, Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition. That can be played solo, which is a bloody good game.
And a similar theme, I've played the Arkham Horror LCG solo quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to admit, actually, that's one of the few solo board games I've actually enjoyed playing solo. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of solo board games because I'd rather play a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always find, like for me, board games are something that you go and do with other people. Like it's a sociable thing for me. So the idea of, like you say, if I was going to play a computer game, a game on my own, I would go and play a computer game. That just seems perfectly coupled to me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now, I would say when I get a new game, I do tend to play even a competitive game solo to try and learn the rules. So I basically play the game against myself.
Yes.
And I found that's the best way to learn the rules to a game. I've also done for a few games where we've been sent review copies or I want to get a review out, which is a game that can be played solo. I will play a few games that solo because it gets more games under your belt to understand the nuances of how the game works.
Yeah, I do the same.
That's because you, Steve, unlike I, are a dedicated board gamer. Whereas I just like screwing you guys over.
Pretty much.
But I must admit, there's very few games I've bought Actually, I'd say no, very few. There's no games I've ever bought to play solo. It's not something I've looked at and go, oh, it's got a solo mode, brilliant. It doesn't come into it at all.
No, I'm the same.
I wonder how many games are out there that only have solo modes.
There's a few niche games which are just solo games, but you tend to find most of them are cooperative games that can be played solo.
The thing is, I mean, I've found that any cooperative game, like purely cooperative game, can be played solo because all you need to do, I mean, because it's exactly the same game. Because you're all on the same side. You either play it with 4 players or you play it with 1 player playing 4 players. It's exactly the same game.
Unless it's one of those games where, although you're all on the same side, you don't know what other people know. So, like, you've each got your own hand, and you're not supposed to see each other's hands. So you're against...
Like the advanced version of playing Pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Time Stories, because the way Time Stories is supposed to work is half of the puzzle of that game is that you don't just go to a card and read it out verbatim to everyone else. You're supposed to read the card yourself, process the information, put it back down, and then tell other people what you've seen.
Yeah, it's an interpretation, isn't it? Yeah, and that's where the fun starts. Because if you're, some kind of class 1 moron, you don't relay the information properly, then you screw everyone's game up. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me, Andy?
I think he's looking at me. I think we were a team of 4 class 4 morons in our game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, as for mechanics in solo games, well, I'm just trying to think of anything that really stands out in a game that I do enjoy solo. I mean, why do I play Arkham Horror or Mansions of Madness when I don't generally tend to like solo games?
I think the answer to that is if it is going to be a story. So the only thing I think that would entice me to play a game solo is if it ended up being a story. I mean, that's why I play computer games solo, is because there's some sort of interesting story that doesn't need other people for it to be fun for.
That makes sense. I mean, I quite like Mansions of Madness for that reason, actually. I quite enjoy playing MOM on my own. But again,
I could imagine that.
It's a fully cooperative game, so it doesn't really matter. And because it's run by the app, all the hard stuff's done for you. You just move encounters around, and you're basically going through the story, which is quite good. So I quite like that. So yeah, I'm on board with that idea. Story.
You could be killed on your own.
Yes. Or in my case, last time I was literally 1 hit of a 2-before from hitting the bad guy from winning the game, and no, I ran out of turns and we all went fucking mental.
Well, standard ending then.
Yes. God damn it. He had 2 hit points left. 2.
So Colin does have some further questions. Where has the talisman ding gone? He got all excited listening to one of the interviews, and the guy's phone kept ringing, and he thought it was going to be a talisman reference.
Does he want the honest answer?
Well,
Because Steve couldn't be asked put it in anymore.
And because I started playing up to it.
If for people who didn't listen to some of the older episodes, because John only tends to mention one game.
That's not true. I tend to go back to it as a frame of reference.
Yes.
I do mention lots of games. It's just that one did, especially in the earlier episodes, tend to pop up more. I've stopped mentioning it now because I've been ridiculed so frequently for it.
And rightly so.
Well, again, Andy, you still haven't fucking played it, have you? So you don't
Its
know.
reputation precedes it.
Look, I would admit again that there are some simplistic elements to it, but it's still a fun experience, and Steve would agree with that. He has on record.
He did 2
It's
podcasts
on the
ago.
internet, so it must be true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I got rid of it because I was getting... There's a lot of editing we have to do on the podcast, mainly because of all
Andy.
3 of us are rubbish.
God damn it. It's not just me.
But it is
It's mostly me.
So if you think we sound ramshackle now, you should hear the unedited version.
Oh, man, we should release one of those.
I'm disappointed. I'm worried if in case we ever actually do a live show, at a convention or something, people are going to realise what we actually sound like.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I've already done 2. You 2 weren't there.
Yeah, all right.
2?
Yeah.
We all did the first one, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You weren't there for the last one, though.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I thought you did the second one that you hadn't told us about.
Oh, no.
moonlighting.
He's been moonlighting, the cheeky monkey.
Well, actually, no, I kind of did, because I was on We're Not Wizards. Well, I was quite well behaved there.
That's a good point.
You were actually. We're very well behaved. I was shocked.
I know. And I know full well that Richard does pretty much bugger all editing. So that was pretty much a raw feed. So, I can be good. It's just you two. You bring out the worst in me.
Or you feel relaxed enough to be
That's true, yes. A country music star.
You know that's going to get cut into all the other times you've said that word, right?
Totally.
I have to save them all now, don't I?
Yeah.
Anyway, Colin does not finish. He's got a couple more.
He does.
On the note of the Talisman ding, John, have you ever thought of a Talisman Legacy edition?
To which I would say, Colin, have you ever played Talisman and it not be a legacy? How would it even work?
Is it not? It's not really a legacy. It's more ordeal, isn't it?
The honest answer is absolutely yes. I have thought about it. In fact, on one of the holidays that we go on in the summer sometimes, where we're abandoned in the middle of nowhere in Scotland for lots of drinking and board gaming fun, those sorts of things have often come up in conversation. The idea of having a campaign of Talisman where your character carries on, I quite like the idea, but it would basically just be a very simplistic RPG type affair, I think. So I don't know how the dynamics of it would work, and I suspect it would lose some of its charm. Like, one of the things I love about Talisman, I know I'm going to go down that route again,
That belt's getting worn out already.
Is the fact that you start off with a relatively naive crap character, and in a relatively short space of time, like 3 or 4 days, you build them up to be some hardcore, warrior who's gonna survive the trials of some pretty nasty stuff. So if you had to then go on, I don't know how you develop it more. I think it'd lose something.
I think there's some merit there, because you could see adding stickers to those locations on Talisman that would change them. So it would happen and would change the locations into various things in a similar way to some of the expansions have done. Some of the expansions have put overlays on the boards. Imagine that, but with permanent changes, so as you do things in the game and as the story unfolds.
That could be quite good. What if you became a toad? Would you remain a toad? That would be bad.
Or maybe there's like a toad plague where everyone becomes a toad. Do you know what? I've changed my mind. I think this sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of merit in this.
Right, we've called it, so if FFG make it, we're having them.
When?
FFG are not going to make it. We know that now.
Oh, that's true. Well, whoever makes it.
We'll have to write to Games Workshop now and be very polite.
Yes.
Or we could just tell them to listen to the podcast. Like a bunch of country music fans.
So Colin actually ties these two questions he's got together finally and says, is it ever possible to enjoy Talisman solo?
Oh, there's an extra word there, sorry.
Andy. You'd have to play it to find out, Andy.
I would.
I don't think I'd enjoy playing Talisman solo, because one of the best things about Talisman is stabbing people in the back.
It's mostly about being a jerk to your friends, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's
you don't need Talisman for that.
But it's also about the journey rather than the destination. If you're the only person going on this journey on your own, well, it probably would be a bit of a slog.
Well, it's like if you play the digital version.
Yeah, and I wasn't that enamoured by it.
It loses a bit of its luster because you're not playing against someone else. Some games work on an iPad or computer version just as well as the board game version.
Yeah.
Other ones replace the board game version.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one, it loses what makes the game interesting. So no.
If I can't look Steve in the eye when I steal his magic orb, then what's the point? If you can't see someone's look of disdain as you turn them into a toad and they drop all those fabulous possessions they've been accruing over the last 3 or 4 hours, then yeah, for me it's just not worth it anymore. So Colin, thank you very much for the questions. Probably the best questions we've ever had.
The best questions about Talisman.
And thanks to Colin.
I hope everyone's seen that video.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. I was watching that the other day, actually.
I think I've watched that video about 5 times now.
If you haven't seen it, it's the best things about Hero Quest.
Yeah.
I love the bit where he uses the furniture. It's where he just says, "Oh no, Mormons!" and puts a door down. It's fucking brilliant. Anyway, back to the questions. Phil Harker, friend of mine actually, from Newcastle Roller Derby, has a number of questions which we must apologise for actually, because Phil asked these ages ago and we simply haven't got round to answering them. So hearty apologies, Phil. But here we are. What game components do we feel are more hindrance than help?
Andy?
I'm not a game component. I like to think myself as an exclusive.
Kickstarter exclusive.
Steve's definitely a game component hindrance when it comes to Mysterium.
Oh God, that was funny. This is really hard, he says. Yes, Steve, it is. That's why I never like being the fucking ghost.
That's why we always make Andy the ghost.
Yes, because that way he has to be quiet. I don't know. More hinge. I mean, we could say that fucking D12 from Dead of Winter, but it's kind of critical to the gameplay.
That's kind of the point, really, isn't it? I don't know. I've been thinking about this one. I can't name anything in particular which I feel a particular hinge. Oh, Mansions of Madness. Some of the models in Mansions of Madness are a pain in the ass.
They don't fit the bases properly. Yes.
No.
They're really badly
and
sized.
So, especially the mob from the Innsmouth one. They don't fit in properly and they fall off.
See, my mob's all right. One thing, actually, whilst on the subject of Mansions of Madness, the number of bloody bases you get in Mansions of Madness is ridiculous because you don't get that many monsters in one map. So why the hell do you need an individual base for every single possible miniature? It just makes no sense. I think it's excessive. I wouldn't say it's a hindrance, but I think it's excessive. I'm
trying to think of it. I mean, there are games which have got little fiddly components sometimes.
Yeah, I would say any game that includes a sheet that it contains all of your characters' stuff, so how far they've got through a game, that doesn't have some way to keep it all still. Because nothing worse than you get 2/3 of the way through and then someone nudges the table or you stand up and just catch the edge of the board and then bang! Fuck.
Eclipse is really good for that.
Where was everything sat? I've no idea. Did you guys see this? Did anyone take a picture to post on Twitter recently? Where was I?
Yeah, Eclipse is really bad for that with all those cubes lined up. Dunk! Oh no,
son of a. So yeah, I'd have to say anything where your character state or your player state can't be held securely.
Well, we had that with the entire game board of 5 tribes at the weekend.
Really?
The table got knocked and all the meeples nudged and they were like, everything was half on one tile and half on another. And it's like, where did that come from? I've got no idea. Can't remember.
That's your strategy knackered, isn't it?
Having said that, it's quite good fun when you've got someone who's seriously OCD playing something like Quirkle and you just nudge one tile here and the whole board shifts just fractionally so that they're no longer lined up. So then they automatically start lining everything up and they don't even notice you're doing it half the time. And after an hour, they're like, John, for the love of God, just stop touching them. Can we not just have them in straight lines? I can't take this anymore.
I get more annoyed with some of the packaging.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Small World is one that I really can't stand because you open it, you think, oh my God, this packaging is amazing. They've got slots for all the little tiles to go into, and you put it all away, and it's all nice and neat, and you open the box, and then you can't get the tiles out of the box because you have to get tweezers to get to the bottom to pull it out.
You've just reminded me, actually, it's more packaging. The FFG trenches. They were a waste of fucking time.
Trenches, oh yeah, oh my God. Yeah, where you end up with a huge box and they've made one tiny little dip in the middle which contains all the game components and the rest of it's just bloody filler.
Exactly. It's a waste of time. It's I wouldn't, again, it's not a hindrance. It's just, well, actually, it can be because whilst everything's in the punched cards, it all sits nice and flat on the top of the trench. If you unpunch it and put it all out, it is a nightmare to put it all in the box because you've got to bag it all up and you've got this. Oh, no. They are FFG trenches. They are, Phil.
Okay, then. So what game components would you like to see used more?
I know what the answer is going to be from Steve.
It's going to be dice, isn't it?
It's going to be No, it's going to be miniatures, surely. Miniatures and dice. There you go.
Well, I think we've answered the question more or less with the previous answer. Those little trays, which you can put your little cubes in, so you know where everything is on your character sheet.
Yeah, Scythe's player boards were quite a good example of that, where you put your little cubes in. It's a double-layered board, so there's a recess in each one where each component goes, so you can kick it around as much as you want, and ain't nothing going nowhere.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be as fancy as that one. Scythe apparently was a pain in the arse to manufacture to get the printing to line up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that has got, when you pull a cube out, it reveals something underneath the cube. But something like Eclipse, it's just a holding thing, isn't it? You're just holding a cube or a disc in place.
You can get plastic trays for that. There's a third party that's made some.
Yeah.
You can either get ones with a flat base or ones where you just put the cubes in and it just lines them up to stop them being kicked around. So, but yeah, something like that. If a game has got a lot of small components, as John said, it will be really handy for something. You put your components in something. So, if there is a nudge, then it would be very handy for them not to be unnudged, basically.
Or unnudgeable, even better still.
Unnudgeable. There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Controlled. In fact,
Blue tack, that's the answer.
Every game should come with a bag of blue tack.
There's Velcro everywhere.
Yes. With Mansions of Madness version 2 using the tablet, how much would you like to see games run that way? Well, this is a contentious issue because if Phil the Sheep's listening to this, we're going to get a torrent of abuse because he hates the idea of app-driven games. I've only played 2. Mansions of Madness being one and XCOM being the other, which are sort of kind of run by apps. I can't think of any others. I don't know if either of you two can think of any.
I know of a few of us, but I'm trying to think of any that I actually played. Oh, Alchemist is the other main one I've played.
Yes, there is that.
And John's played that one as well.
I thought both of those worked pretty well, but it does feel a bit weird having a digital element to something, to a hobby that I like, because it's the physical thing, it's playing it with your mates sort of thing. So it kind of goes back to that single player thing.
But the Alchemist is a really cool addition because you're using it to access some hidden information.
Yeah, that was quite neat.
Because you're using it at one point in the game, and the rest of the game is like your standard worker placement fare. You can play Alchemist without the app, but it requires someone to act as an adjudicator, which they basically just have a little sheet which says what all the actual alchemy combinations are, and they have to tick off, you have to show them what cards you use and they have to tell you what you found, which means some person's going to sit there and basically not play the game, which is a bit crap.
Speaking as a software engineer, the whole point of software is to automate the boring shit. So if there's an element of a game that's boring, then that's the bit that you need to make tableted.
But they've already made a Talisman app, John.
Seriously, go and play the fucking game before you judge.
Oh, it's just like pressing buttons on a fruit machine. This is brilliant.
Except every time you win, I know.
Yes.
Why do I do this podcast again? Oh, right, it's to spread the good word of Talisman.
That's right. Oh, yes. Preacher John. There we go. Right then, Pastor
Father
Cage.
John.
Father John. It's quite good, actually. The picture I've got at the moment, there's this aura of light above you from the spot on your ceiling. It just look quite... You're like you've been ordained from heaven.
It's because you can't see it quite here, but just above the video that you listeners obviously can't see at all, there is actually a box of Talisman. It's just shining down on me.
Are there any games that we think would be able to run?
Well, I've got to admit, I'm looking forward to the some news of it just came out today, actually. I'm looking forward to the Imperial Assault app. It's supposed to be coming out soon.
Ooh.
So, whereas Mansions of Madness was designed right from the start to have the app, Descent is the dungeon crawler board game from FFG, which they've added the app to afterwards. And I admit I've still not tried giving that a go. But again, it takes, just like Mansions of Madness does, it gets rid of the DM or keeper or whatever you want to call them. So it's just purely cooperative then. They've announced they're going to do it for Imperial Assault, which is the Star Wars one. And I think that'd be really cool. I'm quite looking forward to that. And going back to an earlier question, as soon as that app comes out, that's a game I'll be playing solo, because I'll be playing Premium Assault solo against the laptop.
Oh, totally, yeah.
There's a few other games that have used it well, I think. That World of Yoho looked interesting, but that was the one where your phone became your ship.
Mm.
And you actually had to place your phone on the board and move it round. It was like a pirate adventure. That one looked interesting, but you kind of thought, at that point, it's becoming the game.
Why not just play a computer game, yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking about, I mean, I've just played, a couple of weeks ago, I played Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, which I actually really enjoyed. It's a really good game. There's not much to it. It's basically just a bunch of books that you read. I wonder if that would be better on an app, because essentially one person just reads out an entry in a book. But because it's in a book, there's a danger that the player could see other areas of it and see different clues that they might not have already seen. So I wonder if it might be better to treat that in an app. But because there's so little to the game, it's in danger of basically replacing the printed copy, because that's pretty much all there is. But at the same time, it would be nicer and easier and cheaper to update it. I don't know. That would work probably. Yeah. So like puzzle games, things like that would be quite good. And then you could make it all nice and voice read. So you could have Stephen Fry or a nice, terribly English accent reading all the words.
I've heard that accent on some Kickstarter, I think.
Oh no, that wasn't
sounds
me.
So familiar.
Oh no, it's some second-rate hack.
Is it? Without a pop filter.
Yes.
We live and learn. Hashtag slightly less ramshackle.
No, we always will be. We're just, plumbing new depths of ramshackle every time. And Phil's last question is, given the amount of games that have received a Cthulhu theme, Steve, what game has yet to be Lovecraft? No, I may be paraphrasing. What game that has yet to be Lovecrafted would you like to see receive that treatment? That is a good question.
Steve?
It's a good question, because it's also a really difficult question. I've been thinking about this, and there's very few game types that haven't had the Lovecraft treatment yet.
Star Wars.
Yeah, but that's a theme.
I don't know, Cthulhu Vader, that'd be quite good. Tentacles out of his mask.
Yeah, but that's just... What game is that, though? That's just saying...
Can you imagine a Star Spawn with a lightsaber?
Presumably they'd all be Sith, though.
Yes, probably. But yeah, you're fair point. That's two themes rather than a game.
So I've got one. Is
there going to be a ding involved?
Have you got your bell ready, Steve? I actually think Cthulhu Talisman would work really well.
it might actually.
Well, you'll all go mad playing it.
Yes.
I don't know, because I was actually thinking about this, and a lot of other games have already become rethemed as Talisman. And it's
rethemed
kind of
as Talisman?
That's, oh God, bollocks, you got me saying it now.
I've got him!
Oh, Jesus. Lots of games have already been rethemed as Cthulhu and Lovecraft.
Gotcha.
And so... I can't think of a niche off the top of my head. The only thing I can think, because like area control games have been done, like you've got Cthulhu Wars, you've got the cooperative game is the one that's done the most. There's even like a Sherlock Holmes consulting detective style game come out similar, which is actually supposed to be really good. That's Mythos Tales.
How many Cthulhu themed games are there where you're acting against one another?
That's it. You're generally cooperative. So yeah, I think Cthulhu Wars again is the only one I can think of where it's purely competitive. So yeah, I think to do something completely different, you'd have to be completely competitive.
I think there's an option for a semi-cooperative game in there somewhere, where obviously you're all trying to defend the end of the world, but the alter ego bit of this is that really what you care about is making sure that you don't die. So it's certain that the world is going to die, but the entire aim of the game is to make sure that you're the last one, and then you can make a pact with him.
Kind of like a Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
The
Battlestar Cthulhu.
Whoever survives longest gets the opportunity to they've proven themselves as the dirtiest, most horrible person and therefore worthy of Cthulhu's reign. I have a place in your organisation now.
Become his pet.
I think that's what's missing.
We could have Cthulhu Tavern.
Cthulhu Tavern. Ugh. I mean, I'm sure that'd be great.
Aircon.
Hello.
Hello. We've just been there. What would a board game based on Polyhedron Collider be like?
Ramshackle.
Awful, I think.
I was going to say unpleasant.
Dreadful.
Based on my current experiences, it's a game where you have 3 players and 3 players only, and 2 players are playing a worker placement game, but the other one is playing a roll and move game.
See, I would have said one person's playing a worker placement game, one person is playing a roll and move game, and the other one just can't pick which one to play, so he's playing both of them at once. Do you know what? That doesn't sound that bad. And it would probably be Cthulhu themed.
With 1,000,000 dice.
With 1,000,000 dice.
But only for one player.
Yeah, but you'd have to place workers all over the place.
You would. You could roll dice into workers, and everyone would be forced to drink beer.
Yes, you definitely have to drink whilst playing it. That would be
So
enforced.
it'd be set in a brewery. We're actually entertainingly thinking about this.
In fact, sod the podcast. This needs to go off air. This is gold.
Kickstart in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Right then. Do you know what? I reckon we'd get funded. I think people would just throw money at us just to see what kind of bollocks we'd come up with.
We will pay you this much if you never produce this game.
Deal.
All
Right then.
components have to be #ramshackle though.
Of course, yes. A meeple
Macaroni.
with only meeple with one leg. a 5-face die.
And it would come with a bell.
Can you get D5s?
Can you get D5s?
Yeah. I guess you
No, I
probably
don't
could.
think so.
You can make a pentagonal tube.
Right, I think it's time to move on. Phil, our good friend the sheep, says, I heard your real voices on Jay's Aircon YT segment. How will I know who is who at the expo as I listen to podcasts in chipmunk mode? The fuck is chipmunk mode?
Where are the voices sounding like this?
Yeah, we talk very fast.
You guys always sound like that. Have I been listening to them wrong?
If Phil's listening to this in chipmunk mode, that means he's listening to it at double speed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or 1.5 speed. So we could
It
really
must make-
screw with him now, and we could start
And
like doing this
really
section.
slow down our voices.
And then really fuck him up, we're talking really quickly at the same time.
But you'll know who we are. I'm the loud one. Steve's the tall one. And John isn't.
I'm the pretty funny one. Yes!
That was hilarious.
Oh, hang on a minute. Okay, fine. I'm the short one. Basically, if you see 3 guys hanging around together laughing at each other, and you can liken them to Top Gear, then
There
you
you
pretty
go,
much
yes.
got us. So the tall one is James May. The one in the middle is Clarkson, weirdly. And the short one is predictably the hamster. So, yeah. So that's what we need to look out for. And almost certainly be running Polyhedron Collider t-shirts.
Yes.
Yes.
Having said all of that, this year, I'm assuming you're talking about this year, it's going to be slightly hard to spot because there won't be a pretty one. It's just going to be too...
No, I am there,
ugly.
John. It's all right.
I can't make it this year.
No, you're going to you're stateside, aren't you?
Well, the UK Games Expo coincides with my wedding anniversary. That's the word I'm looking for. There's something important that I need to remember.
Celebrations. That begins with C, but it doesn't really
Yeah.
work.
There you go. I'm in a conundrum.
You'll be in a different country, won't you?
I will be in a different country. I'll be in America.
Good luck with that, given recent events.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. We're as screwed as they are. So yeah, I'm afraid what I'm trying to get at is that I won't be there. It'll just be these two bozos looking after you.
The highly professional side of Polyhedron Collider.
I was going to say we're even easier to work out because it's just the two of us. I'm the one with the ginger beard, and I'm just the one with the dark beard.
No,
And
look for a taller guy with a ginger beard and a not shorts, but shorter guy with a ridiculous hat and a really stupid little goatee.
And it's not a stupid hat.
It definitely is.
It is
It's
a
really
stupid
not.
hat.
It's not a stupid hat. It's a perfectly acceptable trilby.
I was going to say to begin with, look for the twat in the hat, but I think
Yes.
the UK Games Expert's quite difficult.
You can put that in instead of the word you're going to cut out. So we have a further question from the Village Meeple, at Village Meeple. Have any games ever made you really angry? And if so, which and why?
Yes. It was called A Fistful of Penguins.
What?
Are you sure that's a game, Steve?
Yes, I'm sure that's
this
a game.
sounds dodgy.
I wish it wasn't, but it was definitely a game, and it made me angry because it made no bloody sense whatsoever. It was basically it's like a Yahtzee kind of game. We had to roll some dice and score combinations to get loads of points.
Right.
But if you rolled penguins, you picked up penguin tokens, and then you could spend the penguin tokens to re-roll the dice. But the combinations made no sense. I think there was like a penguin, a moose, a llama, a lion, a gopher, and something else on there. So basically, like Yahtzee's pretty obvious. You want 6 sixes. That's a lot of points. But for some reason, 2 giraffes and a llama got you more points than 3 giraffes. 2 giraffes, a llama, and a penguin lost you points. It was just like, that's it. I've had enough of this. This makes no sense whatsoever.
That actually sounds like it might be too random for me.
Oh, good Lord, yes. That sounds dreadful. I don't think I've ever been made angry by a game. I've been bored.
I beg your pardon?
Never angry.
You've never been made angry
Not by a game.
by a board game.
No. I've been bored, or not particularly interested, or not particularly fussed, but never really angry. I've never got to sort of table flipping territory.
I've seen you look close.
When? Genuinely, I can't remember.
I can't picture which game it was we were playing, but I've definitely seen you when we were playing a game where basically you've had some clever plan that you've been working on for half the game, and then either me or Steve, through generally something completely random, have utterly stuffed your plan. You've just been sat there for the rest of the game looking miserable / angry. Like you can see it like seething under the surface. It's not like outwards like board flipping rage, but it's definitely sat there ready to burst at some point in the kind of, well, I don't care about this anymore. I fucking hate this game. It's not like you're not going to punch us for it, but you're not in the slightest bit happy about the rest of this game because you know there's nothing else you can do. You're fucked.
I don't think that's much of an issue, because if something happens in the game as part of the rules, I think that's probably fair enough because of something someone does. But I don't know, if the game's just bad and it makes you annoyed because it's shit, then that's something else entirely. I've never had that.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't the fault of the game. Very little makes me angry. Generally.
Yes. You're so laid back, you're practically horizontal, Mr. Gage.
You're not the first person to say that about me.
Well, there you go.
It's because he's a hippie.
A little bit. It's all that spinning poi around me.
I just realised I've got a problem. You do have to listen to these 2 episodes back to back, I've realised. I think that was in the previous episode, that joke.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard episode 23.0, you need to go back and listen to it now. And then that joke will make a lot more sense. And we're not going to tell you what it is. You've got to go listen to it. Off you go.
We'll
wait.
it.
Tick, tick.
TikTok, TikTok. Rory J. Summers asks, zombie apocalypse, your escape route takes you past the stocked game shop. Which one game do you take back to your stronghold? We're going to need the bell again, aren't we?
Have we got any games already in our stronghold?
Let's say no. Yeah.
Let's say no. It's not stocked at this point.
We're going to need a bell here, aren't we?
So we've got to take one. We've got to take one game back, and that's the only game we can play. We need a game that's going to last a while. I mean, this is a tough choice for me.
It's clearly Twilight Imperium 3, obviously. That takes longer.
Unbelievably, I was just thinking, I never played it, but I'm going to say Twilight Imperium.
There you go.
I think the obvious choice was Dungeons and Dragons.
God damn it, he might be right.
But one copy of the game, does that include... What does that include? Because if it's just a starter set... Although I guess after that you can make everything up, right? So
Yeah.
Well, no, because that doesn't have the full rule book. Let's assume you can lift the entire library, all of the textbooks. Speaking of which, actually, there's Tales from the Yawning Portal I need to grab as well. God damn
Andy, you're forgetting
never
something.
ending.
You can just make it up.
Oh,
That's
I
the
know.
whole point. It's role-playing.
I know.
So we can make up our own rules. In fact, fuck it. We don't need to go to the shop. We could die in there.
Probably would.
You're right. We'd go in the shop and then we'd die because we'd be like, well, we could take this one. But what about a copy of Talisman? No, we should definitely take Dungeons and Dragons. What about... We'd never leave.
And Rory already asks another question. Which IP would you love there to be a game of or a better game of?
Which IP?
Oh, see, if you'd asked me this about 18 months ago, I think I could have come up with loads. But over the last year, there's been loads of games that I thought, oh, that could become an interesting board game, have been made into them. Yeah, there's a Dark Souls board game coming out. So we know about that one.
Don't tell the listeners, but what does IP mean?
Intellectual property.
Oh, okay.
It's not a web address, John, no.
Can take... No, never mind.
I don't know.
It's a really difficult one, this one.
It is, because a lot of it's been done before. Well...
I've got one idea.
It would probably be quite shit, to be honest, but you could maybe do like a couple of football ones have been done already. In fact, they're actually out in the last 12 months because we've seen them at Expo. Football's quite popular. Although, I have to admit, people who like football and people who like board games, if you put, the
Venn diagram.
The Venn diagram, that's the word, thank you. Yeah, you put those two circles, they don't really overlap.
There's a very small overlap, I think.
There is, yeah. I was going to suggest golf, but it's probably the same problem.
Oh, God.
That would probably be so boring it would actually stop time. I say that as a golfer. Although, actually, I lie. There is a golf game. I played it when I was younger. It's called Fore, Fore. And it's shite.
Boring?
Yes, it's fucking dull. Oh, my God. It's kind of a nice idea, but Christ, it lasts about, more than 5 minutes, which is a big problem.
Going back to your idea, I think a football manager game might be an option.
That would answer the solo game question as well, because you'd do that on your own.
Because a lot of...
Isn't there a computer game that's just like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Football manager, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So would it not be better served as a computer game? How'd it work as a board game?
Competitive football management game, because most football games concentrate on the game itself. They concentrate on like a game of football and you've got to move the ball around. So what about a game where it's a strategy? There you go, Andy. Worker placement football management game.
Well, you say that, but London Games Company have kind of just made one.
Have
They've been promoting it for the past 12 months.
Oh, well.
It's not a worker placement, but it is a competitive sort of... It's kind of a comedy management game, but it is along those lines. But never mind. Better look next time.
Did you say comedy management game?
It's not entirely serious, is what I mean. It's
okay.
not like sort of based on actual players. It's based on hilarity and a bit more fun.
So I'd like to see. You've just put an idea in my head. I'd like to see a modern board game based on Rockstar Ate My Hamster.
What?
What's Rockstar Ate My Hamster?
Oh God, you two are both too young, aren't you? Oh my God.
Not that much too young.
I'm only a year younger than you silly bastard.
Oh, but you're both old. I forgot that.
Rockstar Ate My Hamster was a rock band management game for the Spectrum.
Didn't we trial a rock band management game about this time last year?
It was a missed opportunity, shall we say.
Yes.
it didn't do what I wanted it to. I want a game which Rockstar My Hamster was absolutely fantastic, because you got bonus points for doing stupid stunts. So you got like fame for doing a gig at the top of a Ferris wheel or something like that. But all the stunts could backfire on you as well. I think it's something that's got that silliness with a management game built in would be quite interesting.
That actually sounds like quite a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
Any game where things can backfire, there's a risk. I like that.
I was going to say, has there any replayed IP games you've played which has been a wasted opportunity?
Probably, yes.
Okay, I've got a good one. I'm on the fence about this one. I've played the Bloodborne card game recently.
Oh, are you?
So I'm going back to Dark Souls. It's a similar thing. Bloodborne is a similar game to Dark Souls, but I'm on the fence. I'm not sure if it's a good game or a bad game, and I'm not really entirely sure if it uses the IP very well.
Yeah.
It's like a push your luck game, and really Bloodborne's not about pushing your luck. It's about being tactical and skilled.
Oh, you've reminded me of another one. Portal.
Oh.
Because Cryptozoic obviously have done it, but game mechanics themselves work all right, but I think they could have made a lot more of it.
I thought you'd really like that game.
I do, but I think it could have been better. They've missed... I think the Portal mechanic itself wasn't particularly well used, and the way they used things like GLaDOS and stuff like that weren't particularly good. So it could have been better.
Now, I've not played the miniatures game, but I'd really like to see a good Batman board game.
Oh, that would be cool.
I really do like Batman.
Yes. There is one being made at the moment, isn't there? I've seen rumblings of something.
Yes, Monolith, who are the French company who made Conan and Mythic Battles, are apparently working on a Batman board game.
Excellent. There you
go. The images that are shown make it look very, very similar to Conan.
Okay.
And I'm worried that it's going to be the same game, but reskinned. Which wouldn't be a bad thing if you've got Batman with all his gear, all his kit. I can see that working, but I'd like to see something that gets to the bottom. Batman's not just about kicking the shit out of everyone.
You've got to find things as well. Actually, do you know what would work quite well? Have you played the Arkham series?
Yes.
Yeah, I played the first 3. I haven't played the final one yet.
Okay. Do you not think they would work quite well as a board game?
That's a fantastic idea, yeah.
Yeah,
because that's got the mixture, hasn't it? You've got the kicking ass, you've got the detective work, and then you've got the stealth sections as well, because Batman's not about fighting everyone toe to toe. It's
oh my god! Right, there's a Kickstarter right there for us. Done. I'm having that one. I might have to talk to Rocksteady Games and sort of steal their IP a bit, but I think that might. I mean, it'd have to be a horrifically expensive miniatures game, so we'd have to talk to Simon as well. That would be amazing. Right, there you go. I've just let a cat out of a bag there.
If you can get that blend, I think that could be a fantastic IP. But as you said, it's too many people concentrate on one aspect of the IP and miss out what makes it interesting, I think.
Yeah. It would be difficult to manage, I think, because there's quite a lot going on in that game. And it would be in danger of either being too short, that it would miss out and be too light on a lot of the mechanics that I think make the Arkham games really good, or it would be a 25-hour marathon that no bugger wants to play.
25 hours? That sounds quite good.
It does, actually, yes. Let's do it. But obviously, with the number of people who don't really want to get involved in things like TI3, and that's sort of 10 hours, to do something the size of sort of Arkham City properly with all of the detective visions and walking around the city and all that sort of stuff, getting into fights, it would be in danger of lasting a very long time.
Maybe you could do it as a legacy game.
Ooh, Legacy Batman.
Hello.
Right, let's take this design session off air.
Steve, you're going to cut this bit, right?
So there we go. Yes, Batman. More Batman. We love Batman. And our final question from Mike at Two Can Play That Game. What is our favourite breed of toad?
That is a tough one. I personally prefer Steve. as a breed of toad.
What are you saying? I know I look like a frog at this point in time, but come on.
Oh, that's harsh.
No, I'm saying one of the people that is most pissed off when I turn them into a toad has to be Steve.
Yes, I would say that.
And as I have managed to avoid this so far, I can't be a toad.
Although, actually, now you say it, Andy would make a perfect toad. Based on other experience in other games, I can just picture that pissed off look right now. I can see it. It'd be great, especially once he's amassed a reasonable amount of stuff he's going to lose by being turned into a toad.
That would actually make me angry. So there you go. That's answered the previous question as well.
Yes. So we need to play Talisman, and we need to wait until Andy feels like he's winning because he's got a lot of stuff, but no dramatically improved statistics, so that we can relieve him of his good stuff. And then he'll realise why he hates Talisman probably and never play it again.
Or I'll have my understanding reaffirmed.
Alternatively, he might find himself turning one of us into a toad and suddenly decide, do you know what? This game's got some merit.
Talisman is the best game ever.
Words I'd never thought I'd hear you say, but we've got that recorded now.
I have, yes. But I can unrecord it.
So I've been recording the Skype. We're all good.
Damn it.
I actually have a half genuine answer for this one, but I wouldn't say favourite, more freakily.
Is it the true toad or the common toad?
It is. Oh, I'm just trying to. Again, man looks thing up on internet.
Surely it's got to be the Hypnotoad.
It's the one that like keeps its spawn on its back. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Have you actually seen the videos of this? I saw it on a nature program. It's rather than like lay spawn in like a pond, it lets the spawn grow inside its back.
Ew.
So it's very, very freakish. I don't know what its name it's called, but the scary, freakish back toad.
That sounds grim.
Yes, it is grim.
Okay.
There's something wrong
There
with you,
go.
Steve.
Almost like a gremlin. When they get wet.
Yeah, exactly like a gremlin. Yeah.
Gremlin toad. Okay. Lovely.
Which form of toad is it that you can lick the back of and you get high from? Or is that a
None.
frog?
That's a toad, and that's from Family Guy. I'm pretty sure that's not real. I might be wrong, though.
There's definitely a frog or a toad.
Ones, yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. It's probably in the Amazon.
I have no idea. Just some kind of tree toad.
The hippie prefers to a toad which gets him high.
There you go, you see?
Why do I always end up being a hippie?
You are a hippie.
I'm a massive geek and a software engineer. How does it... It doesn't compute.
We're not the one who wants to lick toads, Mr. Cage.
For the record, neither am I.
And I think it's probably time to draw this to a close.
It does. We've run out of questions.
We have. Actually, no, I've got one more.
Oh, you've got
I've got
one
a
more?
very
Oh,
important
blimey.
question, actually. A very important question. Steve,
42.
when are you going to make some more of that chocolate porter? That's a very important question.
Soon?
Good.
On a connected note, Andy, when are you making more... Oh my God, my brain's just
Scotch eggs?
blank. Scotch eggs, yes.
What's
that thing
I could
that
make
he
some
is?
soon, I suppose. Possibly not for a month because I'm destitute and can't afford food, but, maybe later in the year.
I had a bit of a revelation the other day, actually. I decided to take a venture into Leamington Spa to go have a look at the game shop there, so Games Den.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I found there's a homebrew supply shop 2 doors down.
It's
Ooh, hello.
almost like it was planned.
That's perfect.
That does sound pretty ideal.
What's more, he's even got a load of brewing equipment downstairs, so you can actually brew beers on the premises.
So you can go in, get one of your beers, take it to the board game shop, drink it, and refill it during the game.
Yeah.
That's convenient.
Dangerous?
Yes.
We have cleared the mailbag. We have an empty sack.
The sack is empty. You beat me to it. We are spent.
It's all that playing at work.
Playing with ourselves.
Yes.
Was that the previous episode? I've lost track now.
No, that was this one. We're okay. We're good.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you very much for listening. We will be back soon with hopefully a normal episode. But if you would like us to attempt to answer your question, send us a question via Facebook or Twitter or on the Board Game Geek Guild, all of which can be linked to direct from polyhedroncollider.com.
Good stuff.
That's convenient.
That's
another C word, by the way. Like Charterstone, there's another C word.
Right, before Andy gets too carried away and hits the one that he's aiming for, we should draw this to a close. So thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. See you in a few weeks.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.